Hello everybody and welcome to another proper episode of From the Game Throne. I'm your host Smeep and today we're going to be talking about Planet Coaster. Just a quick first impressions video. I'm not going to go into crazy amounts of detail because there really is so much we could talk about. Okay, so straight off the bat, first of all, the game looks absolutely fantastic. Obviously it doesn't look like Battlefield or Star Wars Battlefront or bloody Skyrim HD Remastered Edition, whatever you want to call it. But for a theme park sim, the amount of detail in this game is insane. And I've only played maybe the first 2 or 3 levels with all the different challenges. The character models are detailed, the key rings that the engineers have, the ride operators have got the Planet Coaster logo on them. You can zoom in and see the tiniest things, scratches on the rides that would be there in real life. There are so many intricacies, like a little cave just outside one of the parks with a campfire inside it. Really well done to the guys on the graphics there. The second aspect of the game I'd really like to bring to your attention is the sound. The atmosphere is fantastic in this game. It sounds and feels like a theme park, especially if you've got headphones on. But on top of that, all the music seems to be live. You can hear the sliding of the fingers along the guitar neck. You can hear every last detail. Even the songs, even though they're not in English, they're in gibberish language. You start singing along with them, humming along as you go in. You can hear the motors inside the rides working. It's absolutely fantastic. And just before we move on, whilst I will mention a little bit of coaster building, I'm not going to go into huge detail on the actual coaster construction itself because it's that intricate. I can do a whole other video on it, which I probably will do. There are a couple of things that I love about it and a couple of things that I'm not quite used to yet. But one of the best upgrades, as it were, over existing Roller Coaster Tycoon games or any other roller coaster game that I'm aware of, is once you've finished building your track, you can actually go in and edit the track without demolishing the ride. You can you select the track and you can sort of pinch and pull it and twist it, so you can modify the track, you can smooth it, you can auto smooth. So if there's a bit of track where it's really rickety and it would make the guests feel nauseous or risk the coaster coming off the track, they've put in ways to fix that, which is absolutely fantastic. There's a couple of things I don't like though about the building, and this applies to anything where you're building a track like the trains or roller coasters. Basically, if there's a tree in the way, it doesn't automatically move or delete the tree, which gets very, very much in the way. There might be a way to do it. Again, I've only been playing this game for about 5 or 6 hours. But for example, you build in your track and off you go, 1, 2, 3, and then bang, there's a tree in the way, and you have to exit the building mode and pick up the tree and move the tree or delete the tree, as opposed to it maybe just dropping off into an inventory, because obviously the trees count towards the scenery. So you might want to drop that into an inventory, and once you finish building the roller coaster, plant them all down afterwards. That would be a great addition and an easy fix for the problem. It really does get in the way, especially when you're really deep into thinking about what kind of coaster you want to do. Okay, let's get the rest of the niggles out of the way while I'm at it. 1, you can't hire multiple staff in one go that I know of. If you buy a janitor or hire a janitor, place him down, you have to open the menu again and then hire another one. Rinse and repeat. If you're hiring 10 of these in one go, say your park's really dirty, you want a quick clean up, it gets in the way, it slows you down. Really, maybe even holding control or something while you're hiring the janitor, so you can put 5 or 6 janitors down without opening the menu each time, would help. The ability to synchronise staff wages would also help. If one janitor is miserable and they're on the same wage as another janitor, you raise the first one's wages and then you can guarantee the next one is going to start complaining. So it'd be nice to be able to do all the janitors or all the entertainers in one go. And something that's really, really missing is shop synchronisation. That's a big thing for me. I like the idea of all the prices in the park being set the same. So hot dogs at place A are not going to cost more than hot dogs at place B. I can see the benefit to it, like you can have a cheaper hot dog stand, but all you need is an option on each one, just like in the old RCT games where you synchronise this store with the others, and if you don't want a particular store to be synchronised, you don't have to tick the option. One more thing to rant about is that when you're so far into a simulation game like this, you end up staring at a finances screen with fast forward mode enabled, and that kind of takes away from the atmosphere for me. But it's a necessary part of the game. All they really need to add in there is something that gives you a miniature version of the existing screen, so you can still look at your park in the background and just have something maybe off to the side which shows you how far you are away from paying off your loan or how close the next research is. It's just a minor niggle, and I'm sure with time they'll fix that. And it would be nice when you're building a ride, if when you hovered over it, you would get a little tooltip that said you already have 2 of these in your park, or there is already 1 of these in the park, because you don't want to repeat the same rides in certain park designs. In fact, tooltips in general are a bit lacking. There's a lot of help coming up on the top left of the screen, but certain interfaces in the game I didn't know what they did, and I found myself naturally hovering my mouse over them, waiting for a little tooltip to come up to explain what it was. That would just be a nice addition. So it might sound like I've been ragging on this game the whole time. Trust me, these are just little niggles that I would like to see thanks to previous experience with roller coaster games. The game itself is absolutely brilliant. There's loads to do, so much open-ended gameplay. You can build anything you can think of, including scenery. You can mix the scenery within itself. It's not limited to being on a grid, so you can do daft things like make rockeries. I know that sounds like such a tiny trivial thing, but it really makes a difference to how your park looks and feels, and it does actually affect the gameplay and the people's idea of what your park is like. There's loads to be getting on with, easy to learn, hard to master. The challenges rise in difficulty as the game goes on, just as you'd expect from a roller coaster game. The game is absolutely brilliant, and I highly recommend you play it. Get it right now. The guys at Frontier are good guys. I'm glad they separated themselves from the whole roller coaster tycoon mess. Well done, Frontier, and honestly, buy the game, you will enjoy it.